everybody, and thank you for joining me today. So I have reached the bottom of this next pass, and I'm starting to fill in from the left side out. I'm going to be working on flowers and leaves today, and maybe a little bit of the water behind it, we will see. Yeah, not working diagonal at this point. As you can see, I got a bit of a wavy edge there. But yeah, as I say, this is my new way of stitching. I try not to make floating stitches by themselves, try not to close in on all four sides, so yeah, it's a little more free-form now. So yes, so sometimes I'm working top down, sometimes bottom up, sometimes from the side out. Today is more that last option. So we got lots of purples right now. My working tray is full of purple and pink threads for the moment. Which, yeah, I'll be on that for a bit, because then I get into, there's a flower bud, and then there's the big open flower, which I only got about the first third of it, I would say, done in the last pass. So this piece is not much left to it, I would say. I have enough for one more stitch over here, so just gonna tack that down with a pin stitch and then park it there. That way it won't pull loose. So yeah. All right, so there's a little bit of a edge here I could fill in, but I don't think I'm going to for the moment. I'm going to sort of stick to this part and I think work my way up. But as I often say, I will change my plans on the go. So that's my current plan, but we will see. So yeah, sometimes when it's an area like this, I kind of end up working across a wider space when there's a lot of the same color spread across that space. So yeah, I know some people like to stitch just in one little square of 100 at a time, but that is not for me. Yeah. I say my stitching is organized disorder, because that's how my brain works. Yeah, so my husband is out golfing for work. Yeah, he said he's going to take one for the team. Yeah, they sort of rotate different people in, and they had one with clients while he was on holidays working on our renovations, and of course he didn't see the message until after it was over, so now it's his turn. And I joked with him, I said, are you going to win a prize for getting the worst score? Because that happened to him before. Yeah, they had different prizes, and he won a box of golf balls for being the guy with the worst score. Well, he really doesn't play that much, so yeah. His golf clubs are just like some mismatched ones, like from garage sales and stuff, because yeah, it's not a major hobby for him, so yeah. Okay, so yeah, this color is kind of going down this way. So actually, I did say I was probably going to work up, but now that I look at it, working downwards might actually be the direction I decide to go. We'll see. I might do both, sort of depending on how much I get stitched. Sometimes that happens too, where yeah, I'll sort of stitch some this way, some that way, and yeah. Oh, it looks like my food subscription box is here. So you'll probably hear a knock on the door, but that's okay. It can wait. I don't need to sign for it, and they pack it with lots of ice, so food is supposed to stay fresh for up to 48 hours. Yeah, I was so annoyed. I made some mac and cheese, and I was going to make some little burger patties to go with it. And I completely forgot to do the last bit until after the whole dinner was done. It was like, my husband says, well, that's fine, make it tomorrow. I said, yeah, it's not that. I'm just annoyed at my sieve of a brain. Oh. Like, not diagnosed with ADHD, but I mean, I highly suspect it. And my dad was diagnosed with it as an adult, and I'm a lot like him, so yeah. Like, I'm sort of at the point where it can be frustrating, but I can cope, so yeah. I haven't bothered seeking it because to get it as an adult is extremely cost prohibitive. But yeah, or I said there was one time I made dinner and then I opened the fridge to get something to add to it and went, oh, there's leftovers from yesterday. And I joked, I said, so should we make like hobbits and eat them both? I said, it's so weird of me to forget that I have leftovers because I always think to myself, okay, woohoo, good, I have leftovers. Now I don't have to cook tomorrow, And I don't know, for some reason, it didn't register. And like when I was getting ingredients out of the fridge to make dinner, I didn't see it the first time, so I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of funny. It was like, okay, well, I guess I don't have to cook for the next 2 days then, because I had leftovers from the dinner I just made as well, so yeah. Well, at least I forgot it in the fridge. That's for sure, yeah. Because I did that one time. I was so mad at myself. I made this big pot of stew, and afterwards, I put it on the counter to cool down before I put it in the fridge, because you're supposed to, not put it in the fridge hot, and forgot about it. Came out the next morning and it was still sitting. I was like, no. And my husband said, well, it sucks, but like it's not like we'll starve or anything. I said, but you don't get it. I said that was going to be dinner for the next 2 nights. Now I have to cook again. Ugh. Like, that's what I was more upset about than the food waste. Yeah. I had done that to save myself more work later, and it backfired on me. So now I put stuff in my fridge even when it's hot. I don't care. I know you're not supposed to do that, but yeah. If I put something down and walk away, I forget it exists. And yeah, so I can even have the you're forgetting something in my head, go through the whole house trying to think of what it is I forgot and still not know. So yeah. So actually it was kind of funny because of that, I have a fridge that has like its glass shelves, and obviously I don't want them to break from the difference in temperature of putting a hot cooking pot onto glass, so I always put it on a hot pad instead. And anyway, I had a jar of beets in there that had gotten cracked, and the liquid had all drained out, and I'm like, but where did the liquid go? Couldn't find it anywhere in there. It was so weird because it was like a very small little crack where it very slowly seeped out over time. But yeah, I was like, if the liquid like drained out, it would make a mess in there, and where did it all go? I can't find it. And I thought, okay, well, that was weird. And then one day I went to grab one of the hot pads from out of the fridge, and I picked it up, and it was like totally stiff, like some piece of corrugated cardboard. And I looked at it and I'm like, oh, that's where all the beet juice went. It was soaked into the hot pad. But because the hot pad was like a reddish maroon color, I didn't even notice because it was like the same color. So it was that, and then it had like a sort of tan in the middle with a Christmas tree on it. My mother-in-law gave it to me years ago, so you couldn't see the Christmas tree anymore. But yeah, I hadn't really noticed because the main body of it was already that color. So yeah, it was quite funny. So I had to soak it out, all the beet juice out of it, and oh, I said it was like, you know, I was making with a giant tea bag or something, except it was a hot pad. Oh, it took like 7 or 8 bowls of water before I got all the beet juice out of there. Yeah, there was a lot. Because the jar was pretty much full, so yeah, it was funny. Yeah, I was actually surprised I was able to get it out without it staining, because I said, yeah, that stuff generally stains pretty bad. Oh my goodness. Okay. So yeah, I said I was going to work more that way, but actually I ended up working more on this way as I just sort of add to this. Well, the color changes to some darker colors here, so I may cut it off here. I may not. I'm going to decide as I go. Oh, sorry, my table's being very squeaky. I'll move it a bit and see if it stops doing that. Because that annoys me. Yeah, I think that is better now. Yeah, much better. No longer hearing that weird creaky noise. So let's see. Oh, I said that, but then I jinxed myself. There it is again. Well, last time I was worried, but it didn't really seem to pick up on camera that well, so that was a good thing. Okay, so I'm at 46.98%. So I would think I should be able to, yeah, I should be able to get it to roll over to 47% this session, because that's like 60 stitches or something, so that's not much at all. If I'm doing my math right. It might even be less depending on how soon ago it rolled over to 0.98. I'm not sure. I wasn't really paying attention. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I got kind of another petal here, so I'm going to fill that in and around it. Yeah, there's more purple here than I expected. The mock-up, it looked a little muddier, but that could also be my printer. I like to print out my the mock-up of the pattern, and I actually go into like paint on my computer, and I like to draw the lines across it where the passes are, so I can see exactly sort of what's going to be stitched in a pass. Yeah, actually got the idea. There was in the Heaven and Earth's Facebook design, Heaven and Earth Designs Facebook group, I should say, somebody did that where they grid the pictures of the mock-up with the pages of the pattern. So same thing, you can know what you're going to be stitching when you're on a certain page. Of course, I no longer work by page because Pattern Keeper connects it into one continuous pattern, which I really like. Although you do have the option to have the page lines on if you wish, since some people prefer to still stitch by page. I have mine turned off because, yeah, I like to just work across the whole piece and make my breaks where I decide to, not where the page lines were. Yeah. I stitched by page when I was still stitching from paper, of course. But yeah, I haven't done that in quite a while. I think it was 2018, maybe 2019. Yeah, when I started stitching from the app. And I will not go back. I have not stitched from paper since. Yeah, it would have to be a pattern I really, really am obsessed with making for me to stitch from paper again. Yeah. Because, yeah, that's, when Heaven and Earth Designs retires a pattern, you're not allowed to sell an electronic copy, a PDF. You're only allowed to sell if you have a hardcover or hard paper copy that you haven't stitched from. So sometimes people will, yeah, hunt down retired charts that way, but I'm not willing to stitch from paper. So, yeah. Like I said, I would have to really, really love the pattern to be willing to do that again. Yeah, although it was kind of sad because there was one I was looking at that was called Eeveelution, which was some fan art was done of the Pokemon Eevee, where it shows like her original form at the bottom and then in different rainbow colors her into all her different evolved forms, because I think she has like 6 or 7 of them, something like that. And yeah, my son's favorite Pokemon is Eevee, and so I kind of thought maybe one day I would stitch it for him, but yeah, it wasn't officially licensed art. It was fan art, and Nintendo cracked down on that. Yeah, basically saying like, we own this character, you don't have permission to use it. So yeah, without warning, unfortunately, they had to retire it immediately to be compliant with the copyright law. So yeah, I was like, oh, I should have bought it, especially since they had a sale recently, right? And I didn't. So yeah. Now the only way to stitch it would be if somebody was willing to part with an unused hard copy, but I don't want to stitch from paper. So I'm like, well, I guess that's not happening then. So yeah, lesson learned. They do try to give you warning if they're planning to retire a pattern, but I mean, sometimes, like I said, if it's a situation like that, they themselves get no warning. It's you must, cease and desist immediately, and yeah, it's gone. So okay, let's see how long this piece is here. Okay, so that's pretty long. Let's see what I have for leftover bits. Yeah, because usually artists try to give sort of 2-week or so heads up, which they then pass along to their customers that, yeah, it will be retired on such and such a date, so if you really want it, you better buy it now. But yeah, they don't always have that option. So yeah, unfortunately. So yeah, that was why I did buy a pattern, I think a year ago, that probably won't be taken down, but yeah, I thought it's really pretty. It's called Garden Gate by Donna, and I'm hoping I'm saying her last name right, Gelsinger. Yeah, it's a very, very confetti heavy piece, that is for sure. It's like, well, a garden fence with a gate, and it's got lots of butterflies and birds and stuff all around it, and yeah, it's really pretty. I fell in love with it immediately after I saw it, and so yeah, the next time they had a 50% off sale, I grabbed it. Yeah, there's a few artists that they said aren't ever 50% off. Thomas Kincaid is one of them, and I think Precious Moments, and there's one other, but I can't remember who. But yeah, it's because of the deal they have with the artist and the royalties. that they have to pay a certain royalty per piece, no matter how much sort of they sold the piece for, kind of thing. And so to do 50%, basically, it would eat too much into their profit. Maybe they would even be selling at a loss at that point, kind of thing. So yeah, I have two of his that I plan to make. Twilight Cottage. That was actually the piece that I gridded up the new piece of fabric for while we were doing renovations, because I didn't have a stitching spot, so I did the gridding because I don't like doing it, but I like having it done, so I figured might as well prepare another piece of cloth so that when the time comes I don't have to do it. Because usually what I do is I start gridding up the next piece of cloth while I'm stitching on one, and I won't do it all at once. I will sort of just do one grid line a day until it's done, because of course these pieces take forever. So yeah, I'm usually doing about 200 grid lines, so it takes a few months, but of course, since it'll be years before I need the piece of fabric, no problem, it'll be done by then. But yeah, instead, I did all of the gridding in like 5 days, and boy, that was tedious. But now it's done, so yeah. I won't have to grid again for a while, because my next one is Deer Creek, which is also by Donna Gelsinger, and I'm reusing the old piece of cloth that I first started this one on when I mucked it up. Yeah, I used the wrong color. I used 01 white tin instead of 1 white, because DMC just listed as white, but Heaven and Earth Designs has it on your pattern as 1. And yeah, and what really ticked me off is I knew other people were making that same mistake, and I still did it. Oh, saying to myself, be careful, don't make that mistake, don't make that mistake, don't make this, and I made that mistake. Yeah, isn't that always the way, right? It's like when you warn somebody, don't trip over that thing, and then you trip over it yourself, right? Yeah. I say that's when you pull a Bernstein Bears. I was just showing you what you should not do. Yeah, I think I had like the very first book that they wrote. It was before they had the sister bear, was just the son, so they called him Little Bear, I think. Because I remember thinking, well, they're brother bear and sister bear, but I'm like, before his sister was born, he wasn't a brother, so what do they call him? Yeah, they called him Little Bear, and it's his dad, Papa Bear's teaching him how to ride a bike, and he keeps messing it up, and oh, I was just showing you what you should not do. Yeah, he like gets stuck in the chimney, and yeah, he goes off the hill, and like all sorts of stuff, and yeah, and every time he messes up, no, I was just demonstrating what you should not do. Yeah. I can't remember if he ever demonstrates it correctly or not. It's been a long time since I read that book, because yeah, it's a kid's book, so I might still have it. I had a bunch of books that I saved from childhood for my own kid, so yeah. I said, actually, that was one of the quite fun things is, hey, read this, you should read this book. It was one of my favorites, and then watching him enjoy it too. Yeah. Okay, let me take a look. So, oh, am I in the right spot? Oh, I'm thinking I parked something wrong, didn't I? Oh no, I'm picking up the wrong thread. Yes, that's what I did. Yep. Okay, so this is going to go down. Okay, so I could do a second thread, but I'm thinking I don't think I have to at this point. What I'm going to do instead, sort of going to split this color up and do all the stuff that's along the edge and back up, and then do the other colors that are around it. So I don't have to add another thread yet, although probably will at some point because it's going to run out. So I'm going to do that and then do sort of all of this. Since it's all connected, nothing's going to be floating around, as I like to call it. Making sure I didn't have a snarl back there. Oh, something's not right. Yeah, I can see that. Okay. Yeah, this didn't pull through evenly. Just duck underneath and make sure. Yeah, okay. Sometimes that happens because a knot formed, but it didn't. I just, for some reason, they didn't pull evenly. One got pulled through faster than the other, so one was left kind of loose, but it's all good now. But yeah, I was talking earlier about Pokemon. There was someone who was stitching a big full coverage piece. I think it was in the group Full Coverage Fanatics, and that it was all of the Pokemon characters. So yeah, she finished and posted a picture. It looks great. And I said, yeah, it took me a while because I was sitting there looking through, seeing if I could find Eevee. Since that's my kid's favorite, yeah. Yeah, they already opened the Spirit Halloween store in town here. And we went to take a look. My son didn't buy anything, but I was saying he should pick the Eevee costume since he loves Eevee. But yeah, he hasn't decided. I told him not to wait till the last minute like he did last year. He was lucky to find anything because I kept reminding him, yeah, you know, if you want to wear a costume to school this year, you should, you know, pick something out before everything gets picked over. And he was lucky to find anything that fit because he bought it like the night before. Yeah, it was just like the very thing I was like, dude, I warned you not to do that. Oh, goofball. Well, he also has a bunch of onesie pajamas that he could wear. Yeah, he has Yoshi ones, so he went as Yoshi a couple times. And yeah, at Christmas we got him. There was a shark one, one that's Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, and a fox. So I said, you know, if you don't feel like spending money on a new costume, you could just wear one of those. Yeah, my sister-in-law, and she is helping our my father-in-law declutter and such. So she made a big group chat saying, you know, to claim your stuff. And yeah, she had one that was like this frog onesie, and I was like, oh, how big is that? My kid would like it. And then yeah, she's like, yeah, it's a kid size 7, so it's definitely not gonna fit him. Yeah, like, ah, darn. But yeah, Mom held on to a lot of stuff. Well, I already got her yarn stash. Yeah, when it came out for my niece's wedding, he brought along a big cedar chest with full of yarn. So yeah, like I said, I'm slowly but surely making a blanket for him out of it. But I'll still have tons left over. Yeah, she had a lot. She never could resist a yarn sale, so yeah. But I mean, It's always the way when you do a craft, right? Who can resist a sale for supplies? So I could technically stitch this one because it won't be floating, but I feel like I kind of want to do these other stitches around it first, sort of thing. So yeah, I'm just kind of stitching all over the place. So I'm going to do those. Oh, pardon me. Nose itch. Oops. Oh, shoot. I hate when I do that. I forgot to slide the needle down. Yeah. Then you end up, the end gets stuck. All of a sudden you're stitching with twice the number of threads. That's better. Just gonna, okay. Feel back there. Good. Make sure it's all smooth. Last thing you want is to stitch through snarls and then they become permanent unless you're willing to cut and rip, which is never fun, right? Okay, so again, I'm going to kind of split this up. Stitch in a weird shape. This is a lot of purple threads. That is for sure. Yes, so we're not going to get any of the fence in this pass. It will be in the next one. So we won't be getting to that until next year at the earliest. Hoping to have this done sometime in 2026. Okay. Oops. Oh, silly me. Hate when I do that. Was in the wrong mode. Yeah, in move mode, double tapping selects or unselects the thread. In marking, double tapping parks the stitch. So well, you do have to set those up in the settings on Pattern Keeper. But yeah, it's really useful, I find. Then I don't have to go through the whole deal of selecting a stitch and then using the more at the bottom to park it or whatever. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to use up some little pieces here, I think. Might have to do something out of order. We will see. Okay. So I'm going to do this and then kind of loop it back downwards. So you can see this is where the color is going to be changing into more of the water behind it, I think. Or possibly some leaves. Hard to tell at the moment. But yes, the colors are changing there, so that's often where I make my breaks, is where the color changes are. Sort of finish that one motif and then move on to the next. Okay, so put that there. I'll do this one next, since I think it's already threaded. Yes, okay. Okay, and then I will put that there. All right. So again, I'm not going to get into all this color yet. I'm just going to sort of do the little bit that it's, as it blends into this purple here, and I will get to that a little later. I might decide to do some of this and then sort of move up and start working my way down again, like I often say I will decide as I get there. Oh yeah, there we are. We're at 47%, which was Star Trek's favorite number. Yeah, apparently there was a thing saying that if you're looking for a random number, 47 seems to be a number people pick more often than any others, which makes it not random kind of thing. So yeah, it became a running joke in Star Trek that 47 is used quite a lot. Okay, well, let me take a look at this strand here. So sometimes I go out of order. No, this is a short one. Okay, so that's why I chose to do it that way. So yeah, sometimes I might do that one floating stitch and sort of carry it up here to keep it all on the same strand, but since it's short, we'll be able to do that anyway, so I will just get a new strand. So I say I try not to go out of order, but sometimes I will, to prevent sort of thread waste. Yeah. Or to avoid having to attach another thread if I don't want to. Okay, so let's put that one there. And then I could either park it and pause and do a different color, but instead I am just going to sort of do this whole C shape here and tie it off. Since, again, there won't be any floating stitches or anything entirely closed in. So it will close in the stitch inside it on 3 sides, but not all 4, so. About to pass 100. So yes, my math was correct. And I was going to roll this over to 47. Oh yeah, my end tables arrived. My husband put them together, so I am now getting more organized. He purposely made sure that my envelopes would all fit. So one of them is holding all my master set of envelopes. And then, yeah, it's really nice too because it's got 2 drawers and then it's got a gap about that big between the top of the second drawer and the top of the table, which is like just the right size to fit the spare working tray. So that's nice because, yeah, I keep 2 for 2 different projects and I swap them out. So yeah, it's really nice to have that right there. Instead of having to keep them all the way downstairs. Yeah, so I finally have to sort through some of those boxes and put stuff in the other drawer like I said I would. Yeah, they don't perfectly match our TV stand, but they're pretty close. Yeah. Well, and they're all kind of neutral colors, so it's not a big problem. All right, so yeah, just a short one for up there. Yeah, so I sometimes say with this method I end up with a kind of a jagged edge and then I slowly smooth it out as I add more stitches and fill it in. Oh, I can see fuzz right here that I missed. There. Okay, I don't think this color is used much for a bit. It was used more at the other side because it was a main color in the vines on the other side, but here it's not used as much. Oh goodness. Oh dear. The neighbor across the street, they started up their lawnmower and it's smoking. That's not supposed to happen. Oh dear. Yeah, they stopped it now. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully they can figure out what's wrong. do this one here. It's in this corner too, before I tie it off. So I think this is where a leaf might be starting to come in, the tip of a leaf, as the colors change, or it might be water. It's, like I said, not so easy to tell. Okay, so just looking at these other colors here, yeah, I think I might do is I can see color is sloping out from here, so I might just start working in here and then work my way down to fill that in. I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, although I do have a piece here that is threaded. That, yeah, I'll just stitch these ones here with it and tie that off. Missed highlighting one of those. Although I say that, but looking at it again, I might do this little bit here for now. Yeah. Yeah, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these purple threads. I'm going to take any needles left off of them. I'm just going to, yeah, move them out of my way for now. I will be stitching with those later. So when I started this pass for the first session, it was quite diagonal, but now it is not. There we are. Whoops. My thumb colored in a few too many. Yeah, so here's where, take a peek at this mock-up again. Yeah, I think this is more leaves here and not water. Water's pretty much done. Yeah, this does look like slightly different colors than what's coming down here, so stitch those, and then yeah, like I said, I'm going to stitch up here and start working on sort of the next grouping of colors. Missed that one. There we go. Oops. Yeah, I thought that looked not quite right. There, that's better. All right. Ooh. Oh, goodness. Made a tangle here. There we go. Okay. Some of this, but not enough that I'm going to put it in my working tray just yet. don't think I have this color out yet. It is not being used as much either. Oh, I lied actually. It was out when I do that. Oh yeah, actually I think I use it more down at the bottom here, yeah. So that is why I brought it out, because I was using it quite a bit when I was at the bottom of this pass, so that's why. Oh, that's no good. Yeah, I only ended up with one strand coming back up. Darn it. I hate when that happens. That's one hazard with these shorter pieces sometimes. All right. I'm trying to just get these 2 stitches out of this little piece of thread so that it's not wasted. Okay, yeah, so that's where I decided I'm going to do this part that's kind of triangle shape kind of here. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to probably fill in downwards again too. So yeah, fill in that, probably fill in downwards, then go back in. I start filling in that leaf, and then I'll be filling in the flower bud, but I won't be getting to that for a while. Yeah, I tend to not work top down as much, at least not on this piece. It's just sort of made more sense to me to work sections from the bottom up, so because of the shape. I guess I could have crossed this as I go, but oh well. Yeah, that's what I usually do, but I forgot this time. think I'll take a break soon. I'm going to attach this one color and do a bit of work, and then, yeah, I think that's where I'm going to call it a day. Quite happy with the progress today, considering there was quite a few threads to juggle. Oh dear, I hate when it does that. Yeah, instead of going through, it kind of split apart, and oh shoot. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, of course, got up for that, and it was a scam call, because, you know. Yeah. Your Amazon order has been declined until you give us your credit card number. Yeah, that's from an automated voice. Yeah, that's legit. I had one time where I tried to make a couple one-click buys with a credit card that I forgot to update because it had expired, and I got a new one with a new, you know, expiry date. And yeah, I didn't get any phone calls. I got an email. Yeah, the order couldn't be completed because the credit card was no good. Yeah, I keep getting ones of, then your Visa card. I don't have a Visa card. Nice try, though. Yeah, I swear, like 90% of that's our old landline number. It's technically not a landline anymore. It's an internet one now, but it's the same number as what our old landline used to be. And yeah, I swear, like 90% of the calls I get on there are spam. Oh dear. Spam and scams. Yeah. Okay, so I think this is now where I'm gonna call it a day. Okay, the neighbors start up there across the street, started up their lawnmower, and it's not smoking this time, so that's good. Yeah. Wouldn't want it to burst into flames on them. That would not be good at all. All right, so yeah, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you here next time. Thanks, everyone.